capital of France, Paris, which is all set to host the Olympics with the opening ceremony kicking off today. France aims to wow the world with an extravagant Olympics opening ceremony through the heart of Paris, officially kicking off a Games fraught with security risks at a time of heightened geopolitical tensions. About 45,000 police, 10,000 soldiers and 2,000 private security staff will ensure the safety of the Olympic parade along the River Seine, its banks and surrounding monuments in an unprecedented display of security. A procession of barges will take nearly 7,000 athletes along the river past Paris's most famous landmark, while more than 300,000 spectators will watch from the banks of the River Seine. Since the last Olympics in Beijing in 2022, wars have erupted in Ukraine and Gaza, providing a tense backdrop to these Olympic Games. France is at its highest level of security for the Olympics. Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach welcomed leaders and royalty from around the globe who arrived on the red carpet for a dinner hosted by the International Olympics Committee at the Louvre Museum in Paris. France's President Emmanuel Macron, Dutch King Willem Alexander, Monaco's Prince Albert and Princess Charlene, Poland's President Andrzej Duda, and China's Vice President Han Zheng were among the guests who were invited to the dinner ahead of Friday's opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris. Zendaya and Snoop Dogg headlined a pre-Olympic gala in Paris at the Louis Vuitton Foundation. The event featured stars like Mick Jagger, Charlize Theron, and LeBron James. The event raised funds for Olympic refugees and athletes and was co-hosted by Anna Wintour, Bernard Arnault, and Pharrell Williams. Up to 3 billion people are expected to tune in to the opening ceremony, in which athletes will sail 3.5 miles down the River Seine against one of the world's most stunning backdrops. The Olympics will run until the 11th of August. France's President Emmanuel Macron said that the Olympic Games were about quote-unquote universal values. Up to 3 billion people are expected to tune in to the opening ceremony, which will witness athletes sailing down the River Seine. Organizers have largely kept their plans for the ceremony under wraps, but Thomas Joly, the artistic director of the event, spoke this week of a large fresco celebrating the relationship that Paris and France maintains with the world.
Sharing joy, sharing enthusiasm, and sharing together what seemed impossible a few days or weeks ago. A lot of your delegations will be here, even if we have tensions between some of your countries. This is the beauty of the sport. And tonight we are very proud to welcome you in this Museum of the Louvre, because this is another form of universality, culture and creation.
Cyber attacks on the Paris Olympics are inevitable, and France will do everything in its power to limit the impact that they may have on the event. That's according to France's Prime Minister Gabriel Attal.
On le sait, les menaces cyber sont réelles. Elles concernent la France en tout temps. Elles concernent d'autant plus la France à l'occasion de ces Jeux olympiques et paralympiques. Le risque zéro n'existe pas. Nous nous attendons à des cyberattaques. L'enjeu est de nous préparer au mieux pour en limiter la portée. Les secteurs les plus critiques, ceux que nous surveillons le plus, c'est évidemment la billetterie, les sites d'accueil des épreuves, les réseaux d'énergie, d'électricité, d'eau, les collectivités locales qui peuvent faire l'objet d'attaques à l'occasion de ces Jeux. Évidemment, la sécurité est l'enjeu.
The technology risks faced by the Paris Olympics were highlighted earlier this month by a global tech outage involving the company CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike's problems last week forced broadcasters off air and left customers without access to services like healthcare and banking. And it also affected some operations of the organizers of the Paris Olympic Games. Around 300 protesters rallied at Paris's Place de la République on the 25th of July, opposing the Olympic Games set to begin on the 26th of July, the Friday. Organized by over 80 environmental and social groups, the protests highlighted concerns about the cost, ecological impact, and treatment of homeless people. A separate group also demonstrated against anti-Semitism, leading to clashes between the two groups. Dozens of homeless families, including many women and children, camped outside Paris's 18th District City Hall, demanding housing. They claimed that their situation worsened due to the clearing of squats ahead of the Olympics. Utopia Charities co-founder Jan Manzi reported that families were removed from shelters and offered emergency housing far away from the city of Paris. This report tells you more.
These are people who are at social aid hotels, in squats, in emergency housing, taken in through different measures, and were sent back out on the streets for months now. They were offered to head to the provinces, except that these people are in Paris and they have a life here, so they refused. And for months, they've been itinerant, seeking shelters on the streets, at people's homes, in parishes, in alternative places. And today, it's overflowing everywhere. And as you can see, it's hundreds of very young children. The youngest is 3 weeks old. And what they are asking for is nothing more than the Olympic Games to go well, that everyone is welcome, but that we don't forget about them.
The International Olympic Committee's president, Thomas Bach, has told that sports and development at the Olympic Games and sports in general are about peace, respect, solidarity, and the Paris 2024 Olympics, set to kick off today with an opening ceremony on the Seine River, is an embodiment of all that.
The Olympic Games are about sport. And they are about more than sport. Sport is health. Sport is inclusion. Sport is respect. Sport is empowerment. Sport is solidarity. Sport is peace.